Winback, and on today's episode of Heroes of the Storm in our A through Z playthrough, we're playing Chromie, the shortest, sandiest dragon of the bunch. Chromie is dealing with some nerfs this patch, so we'll see if those impact our gameplay at all, or if it's just going to be more of the same pocket sand bullshit that it's always been. So, it's a YouTube video. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe your heart out. Today's team comps on Tomb of the Spider Queen are going to be Chromie, Rhaegar, Mephisto, Nova, and Nazebo versus Falstad, Abethur, Karazim, Zool, and Tracer. Now, I'm not entirely sure why Quick Match was so stingy with the tanks today, but I didn't get a single Chromie game with a tank. So, part of that feels a little bit like the game hates me, and maybe that's just a little bit of karma coming my way, but who knows. So the build today is going to be Time Walker's Pursuit. We are going to pick up Chronic Conditions, I believe, and then at 5, Mobius Loop. 8 is going to be Temporal Loop. Yes. 11 is going to be Time Out. 14 is going to be Quantum Overdrive, and then 18 will be Piercing Sands. There's the build. Have fun. Go nuts. So the abilities for Chromie are all very long range, and if you're not aware of how they work, your Q is basically a Hadouken that you throw out in a very, very long line. Is going to connect with whatever it hits first, being minions, buildings, whatever. But if you're lucky enough to hit a hero, it's going to hurt. The good news about this is that even though you can only hit one thing per Sandblast, you get an echo anytime that you throw out a Q. So when you throw your Q, you leave a sand buddy behind who is going to throw a Q as well the next time you do it from whatever angle that's at. So you could potentially be throwing 2 of these and hitting one dude with 2 every single time if you're really, really good at aiming. Unlike myself. I can't save you. I'm sorry. Nothing we're going to be able to do there. Oh, turns out we took Anderhall Anomaly instead of Chronic Conditions. So, oh well. The W is going to be our Dragon's Breath. That is probably, well, to be perfectly honest with you, it's the easiest ability in Chromie's kit to land. The W rains down 3 times, and they all do damage in a large AoE. And they are all vector targeted, so whichever way that you drag your cursor, they're going to go in that direction like you can see on the minion wave there. Really good for clear, really good for a little bit of easily aimed burst damage, because this only, your Sandblast takes 0.5 seconds, but the area is much more difficult to hit than the W, because the Dragon's Breath is much wider, happens much quicker, but it's typically easier to only hit 1 or 2 of those. And then your E is going to be Time Trap, which is going to let you put a trap on the ground, and you have to let it arm after a small amount of time. I believe this actually got buffed with the last patch for Chromie. They nerfed some of her talents and Slowing Sands, her ultimate, but they took arming time off of the traps, which is in and of itself kind of weird. But anyway, once they're armed, you hit the D button to activate them, and you will stop whoever is on top of them in time. So when you do that, they are going to be stopped for 2 seconds. You can do this against yourself. You can do this against your allies. You can also do this against enemies if they are standing directly on top of them. Damn, he got smashed. The Mobius Loop for the W talent is just my favorite. Just 100% my favorite talent in the entire build. So, the ult that most people are going to be taking on this character is Slowing Sands. I don't think it got nerfed in any actuality. It eats up a little bit more mana these days, which is whatever, but it still slows like a motherfucker, and it cuts off huge chokes in team fights, for sieging, all that stuff. The bad news is that in Quick Match, that shit really doesn't matter because no one's really playing the game the way it's supposed to be played. So we're going to take Temporal Loop instead. I'm wondering where the heals are. But anyway, Temporal Loop is going to much better drag Falstad out of his comfort zone, and the Zool also will have some rough time running away from that. But if we can create bigger picks with Temporal Loop, then we can use the kind of brain dead team fighting that we need to with a numbers advantage to win the game. So hopefully that happens. Remains to be seen. Anyway, so with all that being said, we have 1 gem required for turn-in, and we have a Zool pushing the top lane very much all by himself out in the middle of nowhere, and I don't know what anybody is actually looking at. So, turns out we can take most of his health if he walks under the tower at us, but it does take another teammate or two to actually maybe auto-attack him and kill him. I don't know. Ugh. I'm going to tell you guys, this game has become really disappointing lately. Just so disappointing. But I guess we're killing people finally. So, thank God. Oh. So, to the talent itself, or the ability itself, Temporal Loop is going to rewind a character back to the point in which you cast it on them after 3 seconds. And while that's going on, your basic abilities are going to charge 500% faster. So pretty much when you cast your R on someone, you should have your W and your Q back in time to hit them and at least do a whole lot of damage to them, if not outright kill them. So the cooldown on Temporal Loop is actually really good too. It's only 50 seconds. So you can pretty much just rip it on cooldown when you have a good target for it. We are not going to be using it on Tracer if we can avoid it, or Karazim if we can avoid it, because both of those characters with their dashes make it a lot more difficult to... Ooh, he didn't have any to get out and got bitch slapped. I mean, just directly in the face. I don't know. I won't comment. Going to keep those opinions to myself. I'll be just fine. Trapping the Zool with the trap, but didn't have the Q in time to hit him in his face. And I just feel bad. I feel bad. There's nothing like missing skill shots with a character who is completely skill shot based. It gets me right in the old this area, the hard place. Oh my God. Falstad's still running at me with his lightning rod, and I don't have a care in the world. We're going to trap them both and see. Yeah, there we go. We got 2 of them. Falstad's going to go stand in front of him. But there's the Palm instead. Trading cooldowns. Trading pretty big cooldowns. I'm just running for my life. I could time stop him right now, and I didn't. I don't know why. I'm not super I don't know. Past me having a bit of a brain fart, it looks like. Now, Chromie's wave clear is good only when she's got her W up. Or when she's going to kill the crazy monk hanging out underneath my towers. Looks like my Nova was on the same page as well. Didn't want anything to do with that fucker running at us. And I appreciate follow-up, you madman. Except that is going to make things a little bit worse. And looks like this is going to be just the evening out that we needed. Thank you. Thank you, Nazebo, for your walls and your attention to the split push free roaming Zool that nobody wants to look at. Now, as far as talents go for Chromie, the abilities that you really need to be putting all your effort into, well, you don't really have to build talent to do that. A lot of Chromie's talents, how do I explain it? They're mostly utility, because a lot of her damage is already there. Now, when I say that, I know full well that the level 1 talent that I picked has been nerfed. They took 5% off of the spell power that you get from Time Walker's Pursuit, but as it turns out, sticking both of those Falstads in Time Trap, 10% is still a stupid amount of damage for the amount of damage that the ability already does. Please stop attacking me, Clone Boy. So, yeah. I mean, considering the cooldown is only 3 seconds, and then the cooldown on your W is 14 seconds. I don't know. There's not a whole lot about Chromie that I think really needs huge damage output buff numbers. The good news is that our W is going to also get some utility action out of this whole build. I forgot to even finish my thought about the level 1 talent, but the not only are you getting the 10% spell power, you're also getting the vision. So when you hit the 1 key, you get a huge area of vision anywhere on the map, and we're using that to just scout out the Abathur, figure out where he's at. Your Enderhall anomaly, your whole time trapped here at 4 is just kind of up to you. Whatever you make of the team comp that you need to have it against. If there's a lot of silly mobile bitches running directly at you, I wonder why he wasn't hatted on anything, because he was sitting there unhatted since we looked at him like 30 seconds ago. Who knows? Right, but if there's a lot of people running at me with this character, which there should be, if they have dive heroes, I typically take more time trap charges to keep them away and have more of an area covered. If not that, then I did like the buff to chronic conditions, because the move speed for 30% and then the slow, that is it, right? Yeah, 30% for both. So it's a 30% slow for your enemies, 30% move speed increase for you. Really, really strong, easily making it possible to get a lot of people with your obnoxiously long windups on your cooldowns. Got the Zool with the very tip of that Dragon's Breath, and he's just fidgeting his way out of the Sandblast. But that's okay. Mephisto's got him with the R button, and we took his ult for nothing. I mean, that's pretty good for me too. I'm down with that. Now, Mobius Loop, the thing that I mentioned earlier, Dragon's Breath is going to deal 30% bonus damage to enemies hit by the center. And you can see that with the little circle inside the big circle when the ability goes down. So if you hit him with the little teeny center, you're going to take a whole bunch of damage, and enemy heroes hit by the center are slowed by 60% for 0.75 seconds. 60% is a nuts amount of slow on any ranged ability, and considering that it's almost a second long, that pretty much means that you can hit the whoever you're aiming at with at least 2 instances of the W itself, which is awesome. And then your so your 13 talent, I mean, it's pretty well understood that timeout's the only thing that you could take. It's the most broken ice block in the entire game, even though it's just boring as fuck. Ooh, is she going to live? Are we at least going to trade? No. Oh my god, we did. I thought for sure she was going to rewind and go unkillable because of how much confidence there was just standing there shooting me while being time looped. But whatever. I guess we're good. Zool looks like he's the next to sacrifice himself? No, he's just going to completely 1 versus 3, 4, 5 my entire team. Holy fuck. The Abathur hat makes that character with that build absolutely disgusting. Thank God he finally died. The raid boss is down, but now Mephisto's in trouble because Falstad is just looking directly into his butthole with his lightning rod. Okay, now I've gone and killed myself trying to save this stupid demon douchebag, and I should have kept running to the right. I need to get into the fog so that Kirazim doesn't dash to me, but at that point, since the minion wave is passing by, there's really nothing else that I can do, and Falstad's just going to ranged attack me to death. So, cool stuff. And then 16, Quantum Overdrive, the reason that we're taking this for the... There we go, the triple tap. The revenge triple tap for me, thank you. I appreciate you avenging my death, even though I shouldn't have died in the first place. So Quantum Overdrive is an activatable. I hate that it's inactivatable because this gives me fucking 3 buttons on my hotbar that I have to memorize, and just, I don't need, what is that? That's 4, that is a total of 8 buttons for Chromie that you have to be aware of, and I hate that entirely. I didn't come here to play the piano, I came here to play a sand blasting tiny dragon character and hopefully win a game. God, if I could just... Nope, doesn't look like it. That was an extremely early palm, but we are in full retreat. Tracer has been stopped. I'm trying to get Karazim to get away. The clone is down. We got a lot of cooldowns for basically nothing. And we should be able to run at them fairly soon. Okay, Nazebo got a little bit jumpy. The clone isn't dead yet. We still have to wait. And then Tracer dies on the wrong side. We're going to rewind that Falstad. Not enough gusts in the universe, my friend, to save you from all the sand raining down into your tiny bird face. Tiny dwarf and bird face. Is he just going to punch her? God damn. Sometimes an Abathur hat just makes all the difference in those instances where you're just like, why isn't he dead? So, Quantum Overdrive. Finally going to mention, activating to increase our spell power by 30% for 8 seconds, and then hitting an enemy hero with Sandblast reduces this cooldown by 3 seconds. So, it's only a 40-second cooldown to begin with, 45. So, those Qs are going to mean a lot, and then once you get to 20, your Qs are going to pierce. Going to be even shorter cooldown because you can hit them all the time, but having 30% spell power on top of 10% spell power at level 1, you can see where all the damage is for this character, and it's stupid and gross how much of it there is. It just barf. So Chromie does not need talents in any way to do the damage, but all of her talents in some way will increase her damage, either by passively buffing her spell power or giving her some form of CC to make it easier to hit her abilities with all of their ridiculous wind-ups. You understand. Just kind of how Chromie goes. And if it wasn't explicit enough for our level 20, we're taking the Pierce on our Qs so we can hit as many people as possible. In this particular instance, it may have been a good idea to take the double loop for Tracer, but at the same time, I guess not, because Tracer's only a single target, and I have Falstad to loop all the time, so it's better that my Q pierces in case there's minions or teammates or whatever standing around him. So it's really not worth it, because Tracer is not doing enough to our team to warrant me wasting abilities against her. Ooh! If only I were paying attention. She did take the total recall at 22, so she can get all that health back and be unkillable. Nasty. Okay, well, this is 5 people, and then the core, and then the objective. So hopefully this means the game is over, and I can stop talking about Chromie. Perfect. No, wait. Is it? It doesn't feel over. Oh, good. There's still 5 of us. Karazim's dead. Abathur is killing people with Tracer. Am I going to miss that? I am, in fact, going to miss that. Alright, anyway, the Gargantuan got Tracer. We got another keep, passively, with the objective. And I... Loop? He's gonna gust, isn't he? Yep. But he's still dead because the W is so good. There's just something about killing Falstad in his current iteration that feels so right and so good with the universe. Look at all of this fucking melee shit just running at our team with the Abathur hat, and they give literally no fucks about anything that we've got. That is another problem, or maybe the only problem with Chromie. Her threat range is really large, but she does have a bit of a... I don't want to call it a blind spot. If you get close enough to Chromie, hitting your abilities becomes infinitely more difficult because of how long they go out and how long the wind-up is on them. Hitting stuff point blank on characters like Illidan, Karazim, I mean, even to some extent, Tracer and, well, to probably the most extent, Tracer. But if Zul's just running at me with his autos up, it honestly becomes pretty simple for him to just sidestep a Sandblast or a W Dragon's Breath, because he's got not only the Abathur hat, but he's got that insane attack speed with all of that stuff. So he's healing through all of the damage that we do to him up front. And if we don't burst him immediately to kill him, he's just going to slash us to ribbons. And it sucks. There goes the camp that we just took, because the enemy team is not at all concerned about waves. While we try to figure out, okay. Falsa's pretty liberal with the gust usage when it comes to triple tap and temporal loop. And that is probably good news for him, but not so much when there's a Mephisto ult just ready to track him down, undodgeable, completely killing his entire face off. Now, our comp here is kind of hilarious in the fact that all of our ults are really built for killing a person and then cleaning up the rest of their team. So Temporal Loop is really good at killing one dude. Triple Tap also really good at killing one dude, unless it gets blocked. But then there's the Mephisto ult, which is really good at completing kills that have been started by either Triple Tap or Temporal Loop, and then slowing a shitload of people down. I cannot believe she's going to live. That Total Recall is the only thing saving her life, and I'm so upset. But the Mephisto ult with the slow and all the damage keeps people from blocking each other with the Triple Tap, and then Triple Tap does so much damage on its own that the Mephisto ult should essentially be able to kill and then re-kill whoever's left with the 20 upgrade that he took. I can't believe we actually finished Vile Infection after taking it at level 20, not having it finished. But it is Tomb of the Spider Queen, so that's the only Nazebo map possible in competitive play because of how clumped up all the stacks are. And if there was any map to take Vile Infection and still maybe, okay, stop, you gotta get off the boss. Everything's horrible and scary, and I think we're all dead. I think this is where we throw the game. Kerosene still just punching things in the background, finally dies. There's the clone down, but I have got to try to get away, and that's not gonna happen. Cool? There it is. There it is. The Triple Tap just cleaning shit up after the after all the damage comes down from our Dragon's Breath. Falstad getting blasted again after using his Gust. Why in the actual fuck are you guys doing boss? There is literally no reason to defend this. There is a keep wall, a keep, and then a core for that boss to kill to win the enemy team the game. There are 4 people dead and an Abathur on the enemy team. There isn't enough time now because we decided to defend the boss to finish the game. This is the equivalent of taking a merc camp when the core is open and the entire enemy team has been wiped. And this is, by and large, one of the most glaring reasons that HOTS has been such a massive disappointment as of late. And this isn't saying anything against these specific players. Maybe they're brand new. Maybe they have no idea what's going on. But the fact that they're in a game with someone, or multiple people in that case, because we could see 3 people on our team saying go for the fucking core, they opted to defend a boss that's not going to do anything. So that type of player needs to be playing with that same mindset of player, which is very new and uninformed about the game. And the fact that that person is so completely unwilling to listen to the ping to go to the core is more proof that they're either stubborn or bad enough to not be here. So sorry if that's mean, but that is so fucking frustrating. And it's all the matchmaker's fault. It's literally all the matchmaker's fault for placing those people in games like these, which is really Can't be mad at the players. Gotta be mad at the people who put the players together. And they are completely silent about the entire issue. So that's great. Hopefully the bottom lane here will turn into a huge fight where we can pop somebody with our temporal loop and make this game end, because I am really ready for it to be over. Did that get way too dark? I'm sorry. It's just a commentary on the state of the game. We've got a camp. The enemy team's probably on their camp. They can turn in, we cannot. All right, now I remember what else happens in this game. That just I could have picked a better game for a video, I'm sure, but whatever. I guess we'll live with it. You guys will. My apologies. So the fight is broken out. There are 4 people going in on us in the middle lane here. Falstad taking a lot of damage from our Nova covering the flank. The camp is still up, so there is 20% spell armor going down. Palm is the first thing dropped. Karazim is ready to go. He is going to get looped. We're going to try to hit him with as much damage as we can, and he ran the opposite direction that I thought he would. Just continues to go in. There is the clone, killing the Nazeebo who got the wall after his death, and now it doesn't look particularly impressive for us. Gusting a single Mephisto towards his team. There is the ult to kill the Falstad, while Zul just runs forward and gets all of his health back with his W build, finally being taken out because the rest of our team was able to get enough distance between themselves and him to kill him. Holy ass. Now, as it turns out, probably need a turn in to end the game, because Tracer plus Abathur Hat is enough to kill myself and Rhaegar and Nova. We're all skill shot, so if we don't hit Tracer with all of our shit, she's just going to live and kill us all, because Rhaegar doesn't have the type of healing that we need to sustain a fight on the core. So I'm just going to go pick up gems. There's a lot laying around here. It's perfectly possible to do so. Rhaegar is pushing the lane. Okay. I'm going to be pinged a billion times to turn in. But if you'll notice in the bottom right-hand corner, if you can fucking count, we don't have enough yet. So, now that I've got enough, I'm going to go turn it all in by myself. So, just a heads up to anybody incessantly pinging teammates for numbers. Fuck off. My God, this is a really just... I'm sorry. This is salt in a can from your local Walmart, poured directly into your eyes. My apologies. But anyway, the game should be fucking over now. Hopefully, please God, let it end. Okay. Luckily, Nazeebo is a very good target for the enemy team because they think that he is the carry in some way. So they're going to throw everything that they can at him. Going to get their Zul killed, number 1. Looks like Falstad's next on the list. Tracer losing a lot of health as well. It's not going to kill anybody, but it should slow them down just enough for us to pick them off. Thank God. It is a 40% slow, I believe, on the Consume Soul ultimate for Mephisto. Mephisto also taking a lot of damage from the cloned Karazim. We are having some trouble killing. Don't clone Karazim ever. You don't get a level 1 talent when you do it, so it's not worth it. God. Sorry, I've got to defrag my brain from everything that happened in this game. Just so much. Then, calm, peace, this game is over. Nova took the MVP. Nova's doing fantastic that entire time with her flanking and her triple tapping and just the damage. Thank God someone on my team knew what they were doing. Because it sure as shit wasn't me. Anyway, the talents again in case you need them. Time Walker's Pursuit, Anderhall Anomaly, Mobius Loop, Temporal Loop, Timeout, Quantum Overdrive, and Piercing Sands. Thanks so much for hanging out there with this one. Sorry if I turned you off in the middle of the game with that rant, but I don't know. There's nothing I can complain to. There's no suggestion box for the dev team. There's no way to tell a person they're being stupid because they believe that they're not being stupid. And anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have fun. Have a nice night. Bye.